I have a solution for it. They really work. Linxup simplifies the fleet and asset GPS tracking for a lot of small and mid-sized service companies. You're based out of here, right? St. Louis?
Yes, we are.
Jesse, you're right. Yeah. And basically, they have tools that can improve, a company that has a fleet service that is out. They can increase worker productivity, protect drivers, and reduce operating costs. And just real quick before we started, and I wanted to introduce Jesse, but I do want to mention also, hang on one second, let me find that.
Actually, I'm going to jump in real quick just because
go ahead.
I started the recording and it just gave me the big prompt of how it's illegal to not tell people and all of this. So disclaimer, we are recording this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I felt like I needed to put that out there because I'm like,
sure.
Accept.
Sure. And then I just want to tell you guys too, because I think it'd be 9:45 that our marketing department will send out the stuff for ordering lunch. So make sure this is Central Standard Time, 10 to 2. That's when the time you can order lunch through Grubhub. And it's a window. And then at the end of it, I'll give you guys all the code, and she'll also be sending that out too. So just make sure that you do your order on the Grubhub through the email address that you did when you registered for the webinar, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to get the money won't be showing in the account. So I'm going to let Jesse take over, and I really appreciate you doing this for our team.
Yeah, absolutely. So hold on just a second. I'm going to just start presenting here. Yeah, as Carrie said, we are based here in St. Louis. And can you guys all see my presentation here?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great. So as Carrie said, we're based here in St. Louis. We are a GPS tracking company, so not something that's completely, unfamiliar to everyone probably, but I'm going to keep it pretty high level. We probably don't need to get into a ton of the, nitty-gritty details, but if you have questions on that stuff, please let me know. We can definitely get into all of that, but just basically giving you the information of what you need to know and how it can help you. So we'll go over what exactly is the GPS market. And talking with Chris a while ago, as Carrie said too, it's just something that's a little bit different than the normal telecom vendors and partners that you guys have. So just to kind of get into the industry a little bit to show, where the most gains can be made, who we are and why we're a little bit different from everybody else out in the market, what exactly we sell for, and then how it matters to you, how to submit leads, how to get more information, everything like that. So GPS tracking, when we talked with Chris a while ago about this, he was kind of mentioning there's kind of a perception out there that everybody pretty much has it already. And there are, it is a pretty standard solution for a lot of industries, but there's a lot of industries that still haven't completely adapted to it. So there's billions and billions of dollars still on the table. The North American annual growth rate is 8.8%. So this is still very much so a growing market. And only about 64% of fleets say that they use GPS tracking software now. So it really is a whole kind of fleet management solution that simplifies and has kind of become an invaluable tool for people that have one or two corporate company vehicles up to, we have customers that have 4,000 on their account. So we can really kind of run the range and go to scale, but also our niche market is kind of that small to medium business. Most of our customers are in the 5 or 8 range up to about 20 vehicles. But again, we go up to 4,000. So not that we couldn't. And then the difference of Linxup and what makes us a little bit different in the market, there are quite a few GPS tracking companies out there, all the way from big names such as Verizon has a product that they can sell, and there's regional ones across the country, as well as small to medium businesses like ourselves that have really kind of, our niche is that this is all that we do. We're not a Verizon that is also selling on the side a GPS tracking. All of our R&D is focused on this. Oh, let me admit. There we go. All of our R&D is focused on this. All of our leadership and resources are poured just into our GPS solution. We're not an electronics company. This is our bread and butter. So we make the best, most affordable GPS software in the market. So the market for GPS solutions, really, it's anybody that has vehicles. So anything that you can think of, really. If it's a service vehicle, if it's a sales vehicle, if it's anyone that is insuring vehicles for their company, just about any industry that you can think of. It's, not too hard. If you pull up to a business and there's a couple of vehicles out there with a company logo on them, they're a perfect opportunity. So the larger ones are what you could imagine: construction, landscaping, field services that have large fleets that are out there, all the time. But it can go to, for example, with the telecom, anyone that is doing any type of servicing or vehicles, that they need to know where the vehicles are, if they need to dispatch them in a quick manner, if they need to, like I said, submit safety scorecards for insurance purposes of how their drivers and their fleet, the safety of the fleet, tracking maintenance of these vehicles, idle times, fleet fuel optimization, just all of those things that you can think of that come along with fleet management that are above and beyond just, I have a vehicle, it runs around out there. We don't, it comes and goes, it comes back at the end of the day and we tell it to go do these things. And that's what the driver does. So this really just gives you a more robust look into all of that. As I mentioned before, we're one of the easier GPS systems available. The customer portal, and there's a kind of a snapshot view of it here. This is showcasing our dash cam solution as well. So along with our vehicle trackers, we also have dash cams that can be used with them to give a really in-depth view as far as all of these alerts. You can see if there's a coaching opportunity of the driver was texting while driving, if there's an accident. We've heard a lot of people, especially in like the small to medium business, say that there's quite often intentional accidents that people will target them if there's a company name on the side of the vehicle. So this really helps protect against any liability that the driver has that can be used to help make their case to, if there is any type of an accident, to show what really happened. Also, it helps to verify there's, as you can see in the features below, we run all kinds of alerts on harsh braking, rapid acceleration, which tend to be the more dangerous driving behaviors that are more accident prone. Those, we had a perfect example the other day where there was a harsh braking alert, so their driver scorecard was penalized for it, and they looked at the dash cam and it turns out that someone pulled out in front of them. So in that case, you don't want to penalize them because they were doing exactly what they need to do and didn't have an accident. So it really adds more color into the safety of the fleet and to also for liability reasons. So as I mentioned, we have the easiest system to use because we are very flexible. Again, the difference of a big name, a Fortune 500 company like Verizon or someone like that, to customize anything or to get any flexibility on something takes weeks, months, and run up the ladder to get all kinds of approvals. We are based here in St. Louis. We have about 150 employees. The nice thing about being based in St. Louis is we're in the middle of the country. So shipping, we can get to just about anything when it's not the middle of a pandemic and the middle of holiday season. We can usually get you devices or replacements or anything they would need within a couple days. And that still is the case because our shipping, we're not trying to go coast to coast. Also based here in St. Louis is all of our development team, all of our engineering team, our support systems, all of our customer service. They're in a call center. Normally when we're all in the office, they're in a call center all together right here across the hall. So if there's nothing that we outsource, so there's no concerns with not being able to time differences or calling into customer service. You're talking to somebody sitting right at a desk here in St. Louis. We do have, for our vehicles, we also have asset trackers. Difference between a vehicle tracker and an asset tracker: asset trackers go on heavy equipment. So a scissor lift, any type of construction heavy equipment. They can go on a trailer to track cargo versus anything that doesn't basically that's not a vehicle. And then again, there's different devices we have for that to be flexible, that they can use whatever works for them, plug it in, wire it in. We have asset trackers that are strictly battery powered. There is a web portal that you can see here. This is what our web portal looks like when you're in there looking at alerts and looking at videos. But you can see there's tabs here that are pretty intuitive that say, what do you want to do? Go to this tab right there. And then we also do have a free app. So we have a free mobile app for iOS and Android, and people can have as many users as they want, as many logins as they want. The app is free. So we get that question a lot because there's a lot of the solutions out there that after so many users, it's a different tier and a different pricing. And if they need certain reports, there's certain add-ons. None of that is the case. We are a straightforward pricing. There's month-to-month contract options. There's no activation fees. There's no auto renew of contracts. It's pretty much what you would want and what people expect when doing business, to not have any kind of gotcha moments with it. Features included are pretty standard across the industry. We do have the dash cams, which is a new solution. It tends to get a little bit more questions and interest. So when you're out there talking about this, maybe that's a little bit of a sexier product, I guess you could say, that people are interested in that, just to talk about it and to talk about the technology and talk about because it's new to the market altogether. And GPS tracking is a solution that's out there, but some people might not be using as robust of a solution like this that is going to send diagnostic codes if there's a service engine soon light on. We hear a lot of times, there might be a disgruntled tech or serviceman that is out in the field. His dashboard is lit up with, service engine and all kinds of different alerts on the dash that maybe he quits or leaves the company a few weeks later, and he's been running that vehicle basically into the ground and they had no idea. So you'll get the diagnostic codes, you'll get alerts for any of that safety. You can track maintenance, route replays, see where they've been, idle times. It really does kind of help solve an array of problems for your customers. And so the biggest ones that we've seen and that, we've kind of identified on this are that they know where their assets and their vehicles are at any time. It's real-time tracking. The monitoring of the driver behavior, it's not so much a big brother, which you might hear a little bit, as far as we trust our people, we don't need to do that, but it's more of finding coachable moments, and then also being able to submit that and to have the peace of mind of a safe fleet and to be able to prove that for your insurance reasons. Validating time cards. So you can actually set up geofence locations around job sites or around the office even, that as those vehicles move in and out of that geofence, it will send reporting and alerts on that. So if there is anyone out in the field, that is in a fleet services, for example, that it's clocking in on a mobile app, you can validate that they were actually at that location at that time. Reducing fuel costs just because of, being able to see idle times and making sure that the routes are the most effective, being able to dispatch the closest person, tracking that maintenance it puts more of a focus on preventative maintenance versus the breakdown on the side of the road. Theft protection, that's kind of an obvious one, that you can recover your assets and your vehicles sooner if they are stolen, and know where they are. We actually just this week had someone contact me that said one of their trucks was stolen overnight, and they actually got an alert that it was outside of the authorized hours of use, which is it's an alert that you can customize and set. So he was tracking it and on the phone with the police, like giving them his coordinates as he was going. And as soon as he stopped it, within like 5 to 10 minutes of him stopping, the police were there. He's like, it was a really weird feeling of like knowing exactly where it was. So, and then being able to record those events if they have the dash cam solution. I mentioned the unauthorized use, because you can set those parameters of whatever they may be that works for your customer. So all of that's great. That's, problems that need to be solved. But when it comes down to it, how do we quantify that? So there is, as I mentioned, a reduction on insurance cost. We have a real easy button in our reportings. It's just a safety scorecard. You can run it by groups, by driver, by your whole fleet, for time periods, whatever your insurance needs to see. And that's not a foreign concept, because I think even Progressive and some of the individual consumer insurance companies are sending trackers to people to track if they're a safe driver for a month. Send it back. If you are, you get a break on your insurance. The unauthorized use, being able to prevent additional wear and tear of the vehicles, being able to know if there's a side job or personal use happening with company vehicles. And that might be allowed, and that's fine, but then at least how much is, as opposed to, okay, we let them use it for their personal use on the weekends or evenings, whatever they need. But you can really see if there's an abuse of that happening, and to be able to track, okay, this one has a ton of miles on it. We need to get them in more frequently for oil changes, tire rotations, all of the preventive maintenance. Being able to change drivers' behaviors with harsh braking, rapid acceleration, idle times, all of these things really impact fuel cost. When we look at this, you can do a combined, like a collective report on idle times, and it'll show you your whole fleet. Usually it's, not malicious. They're in a super hot day or a cold day, and they're having their lunch break in their car with the AC or heat running. It's something that's probably they're thinking not a huge deal. When you look at all of the vehicles collectively, and there's 8 hours of idle time that's happening, and it's, in a week, that adds up to, in a month, it could be a couple tanks of gas. And then being able to recover your assets sooner. As I mentioned, we kind of specialize in that small to medium business size of about, 10 to 20, 30 vehicles. But that being said, we do have quite a few recognizable names across the country that you would know. I think our largest account right now has about 4,500 vehicles on it, so across the country. And then again, the things that we hear from these customers are just, again, that the support based right out of here in St. Louis, the U.S. support, the U.S. development, nothing's outsourced. That there's quick and easy dispatch. They're able to respond fast. They have more precise travel times. They know, okay, this is, and your customers may be the same. They might need to track, and they pay differently on travel times to a job versus time spent on the job, where this gives exact, accurate reporting on that. Being able to just run that report versus saying, like, how long did that take you? Or, it being a manual process. Tracking the times at each job, really easy to use, easy to install. Like I said, we have them that you can just plug right into the truck. It takes 2 seconds. I can do it, and I'm by no means a mechanic. And, but also if they're wanting different flexibility with that, we have wired devices, we have battery devices, we have just about anything you can think of. I mentioned earlier the difference between an asset tracker and a vehicle tracker. So the vehicles, we can track any vehicle, even if it's an older vehicle that doesn't have an OBD port, you can put a wired in solution, but we also have the asset trackers. And that goes to basically anything that's not a vehicle, but a high value asset, heavy equipment, the trailers, anything that would be something that they need to track, even if it's not necessarily, we need to know if it's stolen, but if they have quite a few, lifts or trailers or, just assets in general out there, then, and it's like, hey, I don't know if it's at that job or at this job, or did we leave that at this office or is it at the other office? To be able to just know where everything is in one quick glance. So for you guys, how, since this is such a different beast, so to speak, than the typical telecom partners, and again, it's pretty easy. You pull up to a customer, they have some company vehicles out there, they're a great prospect. So just some questions that can be asked is, do they have vehicles? Do you have pieces of equipment that they, are company assets? Do they keep track of them? Do they ever need to know where they are or how they're being used? We can track mileage, engine hours, everything. And then sometimes people, as we mentioned before at the beginning, that some people do already have GPS tracking. So just an, easy question, like any other sales that you'd have is, okay, you're using somebody already. Is there anything you wish that they could do? Or is there a feature that they wish you had? Have you been happy with what you've been having with them? We are a more robust solution than a lot of the other providers out in the market that are at the same price point. So there's our price point and below is a pretty simplified solution. So this really gives the full solution and full view into the whole fleet management with the maintenance tracking and reporting and everything that other competitors in our price point don't offer all of that. And so then, when it's all said and done, we all go back to our day and in a few weeks from now, you realize, oh, this might be an actual opportunity. Like, what do you really need to know from this? So there are still tons of billions of dollars on the table that you can go out and target and win some business with. We're easy and affordable to use. And then basically, if you do uncover an opportunity, you can submit it through Quickie. It'll actually come to me. So I'll be working with you directly on that. I'll do all of the work on it. You can be involved in it. You can throw it over the fence and I'll run with it. If you don't, want to be involved with it, whatever you need for that. I do have a sales background. I've come from, I've mentioned a few times with going up against Verizon. I worked for Verizon in their major account sales for about 10 years. And I've also been with Linxup previously in a national account role, where now we moved over to the partner role where I'm supporting our partners more. So I come from a sales background. I get it. I know that you guys are sitting through tons of these and it's like, okay, give me enough to be dangerous. And what do I need to know when I find an opportunity? So throw it on over to me. It'll come to me and then, I'll close it. And then you get all of the revenue and the commission from it. And then also we do have some really helpful videos out there that if after this, it's kind of like, okay, what do I need to know again? Just high level. There's two videos out on the Clarus YouTube channel. And it's basically, again, just who Linxup is and who our customers are. So one of them is our background, a little bit of the industry. And then the second one is who the customers are, questions to ask, people to go after and target. And I think they're each like 3 minutes. It's nothing too painful. And then there is also a quick demo of our portal and our customer interface. We didn't really need to get into it today just because I don't want to get too in the weeds and keep it pretty high level. But if you are interested in that and seeing what it looks like, or if your customers are interested in that, you can go ahead and send that to them also. It's definitely customer facing. It goes over the portal, some quick reports, the maintenance. It's really high level, 30,000 foot. And it briefly touches on the dash cams as well and how you see those videos in the portal. So it's a great resource for you. That there is a ton of other information out there that if you needed to, you could go and find pretty easily. And then if you ever have questions or need to know an answer and can't find some of this, here's my contact information. Like I said, these leads that you submit, they'll be coming directly to me. So if you need to just, and that's how it would be registered, you know, through Clarus and through the Quickie portal. But if in the meantime, it's just a, hey, does this, I need to know how to attack this one, or is this a good target, or anything like that. Or once you do have a prospect, if it's something I need to know, you know, that we all have the ones that's like, there's a little bit of background I need to give you here. Just shoot me an email, give me a call. I'm more than happy to have a conversation about it, and then keep you involved as much or as little as you want to be.
Thank you, Jessica. I really appreciate it. If anybody, just feel free to jump in if you have any questions, you know, that Jessica can, you know, answer for you. And then while I'm talking, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the information. So like I said, make sure when you do your launch, to use the email and the phone number that you registered on Eventbrite with, and the window will be 10 to 2 to order Central Standard Time. And these are all capitals. LXUP 1210 is the code. And Jennifer's going to be sending that also at 9:45 too, but I wanted to make sure everyone had that. And I know Kendall is asking a question, so if anybody wants to ask any questions, she said he's asking if this is available internationally, Jessica.
Yeah, so great question. It is, but I will say, so we use a kind of a third party overall, just like a aggregator of our solution. So we have here in the US, we have Verizon or AT&T devices available. So if people say, hey, who's the carrier for this? Because it is GPS and cellular. So it's GPS in the sense of we're getting the location, that lat long, from a satellite, and then we're uploading it to the portal in real time through cellular. So we do have both of those carriers available that we're certified on now. And that's for, you know, in inventory stock for all of North America. We can get a global SIM, but it's not something that we have in stock and in inventory. So we can definitely, if there's an international opportunity, work on that. It'll just take a little bit more lead time, where anything in North America, you could call me today and we would ship it within a few hours. Any other questions?
Yeah, this is Pierre.
Excellent presentation.
In the dash cam, is there installation that needs to be done on that, or is it pretty much just plug and play?
It's pretty much plug and play. I can install one in about 2.5 minutes. So it's pretty easy. And again, by no means am I a mechanic. So it's actually, especially like in a vehicle, that OBD port plugin, which is just, it's like right under the steering wheel usually. And it's that plugin that like your mechanic would use to like check the diagnostic codes. That's what our tracker can plug into. The dash cam plugs into that as well. So if they purchase a dash cam, we would send out just a splitter for that. It plugs in there, then it has 2 pigtails off of it. You plug it in for power. And then it's just a cord that runs up, and it's actually like a beam that goes down in between the window and the dashboard, and the dashboard, and then it like suction cups. So it kind of leverages it so there's not all the pressure on the suction cup to make it, you know, sustain more. But yeah, it's just a suction cup there. It's kind of about the size of those old Garmin's, if you remember. And it has a forward and an inward facing camera, like a cell phone, like there's a camera on each side of it. So you just mount it up there, and there's different lengths so that you can keep it low to the dash so it doesn't inhibit the line of sight. And then there's a tuck tool that you just kind of tuck that cord in between that like rubber bumper between the windshield.
Gotcha.
So it's real easy. It takes, like I said, about 2.5 minutes. I think we had a contest, and I think our one of our customer service reps, like we had who could do it the fastest, just in general, so that everybody was familiar with installing it. And I think the winner was like 45 seconds or something. It was pretty easy.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you compete against AT&T? Because I worked with a client on their AT&T fleet management, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So all of their features and benefits that we have, you know, we have the same. And we have AT&T devices. So, it usually honestly comes down to price. As I said, we can usually be more affordable with such a robust solution. So we can look at it and kind of compare against them, but we go head to head with them. And we also have AT&T service as well as Verizon. So I know from working for Verizon for so long, not one carrier is perfect across the board. So we can mix and match that for whatever will work best in their area. Or, if there's just one or two that need a different carrier, we can kind of, just on that alone, the fact that we have the flexibility of whatever carrier will work better, because there's pockets and areas for anyone that, let's admit him, that there isn't service. So, we can just kind of supplement in Verizon, with wherever the AT&T service is maybe needing a little extra help.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Also, if that customer that has AT&T, if you want to show them that it's that demo that is a recording out on the YouTube channel, I think it's like 5 or 6 minutes long. Again, like, we're not trying to make anything too painful for anybody and like lose their attention. So if you want to show them that, because it kind of shows the different features and benefits that we have in our solution that kind of can go head to head with AT&T versus just telling them, oh yeah, we do that too.
Okay.
And I'm more than happy to jump on a call with them and address like individual things of, the needs that they would have for that.
Sure.
Yeah, so one of our associates has got a relationship with some, emergency, like ambulance type services. And so do you have a lot of customers in that area? And are they I assume they're probably using something, high probability that they're already using something now.
We have a subset of emergency services, and it's actually great for that. You might find that they might be using something, but again, that kind of just goes back to like uncovering, like, is it working for them? Is there anything that they wish they could do in addition to what they're getting now? But we do have customers in that area. And because again, it's great for real-time tracking. It actually pings, to get into it a little bit technically, it pings 3 times a minute, and then it uploads it once a minute. So you're getting, as close to real time, the industry standard for real time, as anybody can do. And then also with the dash cams, it's been, that's been a subset that has been popular with that because of the, being able to go back and look for liability reasons, if there was accidents,
Absolutely.
if there was, people getting out of their way, or, just things in general. The dash cams have been really popular in the emergency services field as well.
Yeah. I have a personal friend that was a car pulled out of his emergency vehicle as a fire truck, and he got the fire truck flipped over, and he didn't die or anything, but he was injured.
Yeah, so it's great because these the dash cams will automatically capture. They're triggered by the same alerts that the vehicle trackers are, and even plus some, because they have the visual alerts triggering also. So if there's a collision, one of the nice things about our dash cams that nobody else has on the market is you can do a live view. So if you get an alert that there's been a collision, you can set up notifications for that to go to anyone. It doesn't have to be a user in the portal. You can get a text message, an email, or an alert in the app if you are an app user of our app. And you can be notified there has been a collision. You can go in and do live view right away into our camera. And then towards the end, middle to end of next year, I think around Q3, possibly, maybe Q4, we will be having some enhancements to our dash cams that will add two-way communication. So right now, because of privacy, as I had to, say before all of this, everyone's being recorded and give the disclaimer. We cannot record and capture sound, but you can, we do have the videos in the portal, but there's no sound recorded with that. So towards the end of next year, we'll have two-way communication. It won't be able to record it and store it, but if there was an accident, you could live view and see exactly what's happening in that moment and then talk to them. So it's really pretty, something that nobody else offers, that has been something that people have really come to rely on, is that live view of just being able to go in. If there's a call of, hey, your driver's, on the highway and he's driving all over the place, and, we're in a situation, you can live view in right then and there and see what's going on.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, just as a reminder, it's make sure you write this code down in case you don't get the link from Jennifer for any reason, but it's LXUP1210. And thanks, Jessica, for the great webinar and for providing us lunch. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We hope to be bringing some of these opportunities to you. So.
Yeah, again, guys, it's a great market. It's kind of something to mix it up a little bit for you. It's something that people are definitely looking for and interested in, and it will pique their interest. So just kind of starting a conversation and then throwing it on over to me.
Okay. Well, everybody have a great day, and thank you for taking the time to attend. We really appreciate it. Okay. Take care.
Thanks, guys.